Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to continue with part 4. We left to part 3, the point that we were going to discuss chapter 3 of the book of Ecclesiastes in verse 11. This point is vital for us to understand and gives us great hope and gives us great perspective for the future. How important it is that God has installed in our hearts something that we are going to read in verse 11, which says, everything He, the true God, the Almighty, has made pretty in its time. So everything He has made pretty in its time. Because to create the universe took time. And everything that He created in its time was beautiful, was perfect. Even the earth, even the humans that are the last creature. Eve, she was pretty, she was beautiful in its time. When Adam was alone for over 65 years, he made a companion for him, a complement for him. So she was pretty in its time. And Adam felt complete and beautiful and great, despite the fact that he screwed up later on. Now, says, even time indefinite, time without end, He has put in their heart, in the heart of animals, in the heart of other species, or says that mankind, means humans, may never find out the work that the true God has made from the start to the finish. So He has put into our heart eternity, time indefinite, endless time, everlasting time, that we to have always the desire, craving to survive, to live, and never die. So we have the desire to live. That's why we think why we are living so a few years. Because I want to live. Everyone wants to live. No one wants to die. Sometimes even people that go through a lot in life, that life is miserable, still they want to survive, they want to live, because that eternity, that desire within us calls for survival, calls for life, calls for love toward life, no matter what. His soul is very precious, wants to survive. Animals don't have this eternity in their heart. They never think. They are just instinctively wise, the Bible says. Now, this eternity that we have in our heart, that God has installed with Adam, is going to be fulfilled, because His purpose for us to live forever on the earth, something that Adam lost, doesn't mean that God lost that purpose for the righteous humans to survive Armageddon and even to survive the final test, which is 1,000 years after Armageddon, where the book of Psalms, chapter 37, verse 9 and 11 and 29, is going to be fulfilled. To be fulfilled. The righteous will possess the earth and they will live forever in it. So we want to be righteous, and for us to be righteous, will be constituted as such only when we pass the final test, not Armageddon. So we'll live for 1,000 years during Armageddon. We'll have the resurrection of the righteous and the unrighteous, and the people that survive, the righteous ones, the good ones that survive. We say righteous, but not in complete sense, because righteous will be constituted only after the final test. So the people that will survive the Armageddon, they will have the right to have children. So the population will grow probably 10 times more than today, even though today feels very filled, the earth, but is not. In reality, is empty. Now, because people live in the cities and they think they are on top of each other. If you fly, if you fly, you see fields and too many planes and too many plain fields and mountains. You see everything. It's empty. Are no humans there. In 1800s, a forest was burned in Michigan in 1800s. Over 25 billion trees were burned down. That was crazy. That was so many trees. That's what they say are some statistics. I heard it. Watching a program on TV. I don't know how real is that, how realistic it is, based on the facts, but that's what I heard. Just a small portion in Michigan, a forest, 25 billion trees. We today are not even 8 billion humans still. So the earth is big. In 2004, the ecologist said that in the state of Texas, USA, are 6 billion acres of land. You can give 1 acre to each individual, because that's the population of the earth at that time, about 6 billion in 2004, and everybody has an acre. Today we don't have 700-foot apartment, which is very small, and we have to share it with somebody else. So people are not made to live with the cities. This is Nimrodic structure that Nimrod presented on the earth 5,000 years ago. So that's not natural, but the earth is still empty. That's why when we speak about eternity and passing the final test and being constituted righteous, we'll have the possibility to live forever and ever and ever, because God has put that eternity within our system, within our soul, within our heart, within our conscience, within our self, within our spirit, for us to survive and to live forever. That's what the Bible says here. He has installed eternity within us, and not to any other creature around us, physical one. And this way is so much. We'll live in eternity, we'll learn forever, and we will be empty forever. Why? Because there's so much to know. Just studying a species of a bird, for instance, are so many books that could be written about that bird. You see, and we'll never learn enough. Learn the guitar is not enough to learn guitar. It's so much to learn. So we have to do so much in the new system, enjoying everything, enjoying our time, and we'll live forever, and we'll learn forever, and we'll still feel empty when it comes to knowledge and understanding, because the true God made us, made our mind to learn, and never get filled up. We always get excited with new things. So that's the beautiful of eternity. It's not just something that, we'll live forever, that's it. No. Eternity is, we'll get involved with humans, with each other, more than any other time. So we don't get involved with humans today much. We are afraid of each other instead of feeling the trust. So we are made to trust others, to have faith to others, to have loyalty. That brings us joy and happiness. Today we have faith to no one. We don't trust anyone, and that makes us depressed. Why? Because that's the human need that the true God has put it into us to enjoy with love, trust, faith, hope, dependency, positive dependency, not a negative one. And this brings us happiness. So we'll have all these possibilities after Armageddon. They are going to grow in us. We are going to grow toward perfection, physically, mentally, and emotionally. This is the beauty. That's why the true God has put eternity in our heart with a purpose and meaning for us to survive from eternity to eternity. Now, in verse 14 of Ecclesiastes, chapter chapter 3, it says, I have come to know that everything that the true God makes, it will prove to be to time indefinite. So everything that God has made is going to last forever. See? Except animals, because the procedure or the process of their birth and death is going to continue forever, because their death will remind us what death is all about, for us not to sin again, but to obey the truth. Because we are made the privilege to live. They are not. They have no concept of life. They are instinctively wise, as I mentioned, and they die and they don't care. They don't think much about it. But humans are different. Oh my goodness! So we are conscious about death is coming at our, is approaching. We feel apprehensive. Why? Because we think we are made different. Life is natural to us. Death is not. Death is scary because it's not natural. To it there is nothing to add, and from it there is nothing to subtract. So the true God has made elephants, He has made trees, He has made mountains, He has made so beautiful things. Is nothing to add to it. Everything He has created is enough, is sufficient for humans to enjoy on the earth. Because we take care of the earth, we are superior to anything and everything on the earth. He made us to be in charge of the earth. And we miss nothing. We see everything that He has made perfect. But it is nothing to subtract. We cannot say, I hate snakes, I hate crocodiles, I hate this, I hate this plant, I hate this, I hate that. Doesn't mean that I hate some things and everybody else hates them. What I hate, other people's love. They are thrilled by them. So that's personal taste. So I cannot subtract something that God has put there for a reason, for a purpose. But the true God Himself has made it that people may be afraid on account of Him. Yes, when we face a lion, my goodness, when the lion roars, it shakes the earth, right? And we are afraid. We see the creation of God. We see the waves, powerful waves, with the earthquakes sometimes. Oh, boy. The true God has made the earth to get settled in time, despite the fact that today everything is going out of control, because that's prophetic. But in normal basis, you see, we see God's creation and we get electrified. You see, we are afraid sometimes, and that teaches us. Or where we are on top of the mountain, we see beautiful view. That teaches us how small we are. We are small, despite the fact that He doesn't consider us that way. He considers us very dignified, because we are made in His image. Only we, as humans, are made in God's image to present or reflect His personality here on the earth, toward one another and toward the rest of the creation. Now, chapter 3, verse 17 says, I myself have said in my heart, the true God will judge both the righteous one and the wicked one, for there is a time for every affair and concerning every work there. Now, why He is going to judge the righteous one and the wicked one doesn't mean that we still are righteous. Here, the righteous, we will be righteous again after the final test. But the wicked will be after Armageddon, many of them, because they are going, not only now, that they are going to be judged, eliminated in Armageddon, but even after the Armageddon, many resurrected ones, they have been unrighteous ones, they will act wicked. That's why it's called the final test. We'll learn in detail in the book of Revelation chapter 20 about the final test. Be patient. But the Bible says the wicked will be judged and the righteous. So those that don't survive the final test are considered wicked, and they will go to the second death or the lake of fire. It means that they will not have any longer any hope for resurrection. They disappear once for all time. And the righteous are the ones that will survive the final test, as we mentioned. Now, we want to be constituted righteous. And we'll learn how to. Just be patient. In Ecclesiastes chapter 4 now, let's go to chapter 4, verse 7 and 8, is another futility we'll learn here. Ecclesiastes 4, 7 and 8, it says, I myself returned that I might see the vanity under the sun. He returned again with his thought, with his contemplations. Solomon, there exists one, but not a second one. Also, no son or brother does he have. So he is a person, he's talking about an individual here. He is nobody. He's alone. Nothing. And what he does. But there is no end to all his hard work. So he works like crazy. Like he's, too many goals, too many dreams, too many delusions. Also, his eyes themselves are not satisfied with riches. So no matter, he doesn't take time to enjoy what he has because he is so occupied in his illusions, delusions, or the legends of his mind, you see, that he is going to reach somewhere and get so distracted that he forgets that life is gone. He's interested. And for whom am I working hard and causing my soul to lack in good things? So, does he ask himself, for whom am I doing all this? You see? And I'm punishing myself, he says. This individual, Solomon says, he is depriving himself from these good things that he needs to enjoy because the time is gone. You see, he deprives everything from himself, and what he does, he works hard, continues, and he forgets that he can die tomorrow. And somebody else is going to waste everything that he worked so hard for. All his dreams are going to waste, and somebody else will waste him, will waste everything that he achieved. Right? And says here, this too is vanity, and it is a calamitous occupation, as we mentioned. Rubbish, waste. Everything goes waste. And Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 7. Let's see verse 7 in Ecclesiastes chapter 5, what it says. For because of abundance of occupation, there are dreams. Yes, he has so many dreams. And there are vanities and words in abundance, but fear the true God himself. So don't waste your time like this guy that had nothing, wasted his time. Somebody else wasted his things. And he never had time to think who the true God is and what is his purpose for him and for the obedient mankind and for the earth and so on. He had no time to contemplate about these important things. So that's why the Bible says here, but fear the true God himself. This is the most important thing. Enjoy what you have and fear the true God. Learn about him. Learn about his person, because God is a person. And learn about his qualities, what he requires of us, not what we require of him, but what he requires of us, because he requires something from us, you see. And here in verse 10 says, a mere lover of silver will not be satisfied with silver, no matter how hard you try, no matter how much silver and gold and billions and billions and billions of dollars you have, says you'll never be satisfied. Never will be filled. Never is going to be enough. You see, Solomon tried that. Neither any lover of wealth with income. This too is vanity. It's true. Solomon tasted it. He saw it. To him was vanity, and to these billionaires, they will not take their billions with them. They will go naked to the grave. Are going to be rotten. Are going to be turned into dust. You see. Their glory will die with them. Are they rich toward God or toward themselves? If we are rich toward our respecting our soul, we are empty unless we know God and we are rich toward Him.